Wait. Before you move on, give me one honest minute. Not the kind where your mind is already somewhere else. I want to tell you something small but true, something that might land differently than you expect. So just stay with me for a moment. I want to ask you something. When was the last time you actually believed you were doing enough? Not because someone told you so, but because you genuinely felt it, quietly, without needing proof. If it has been a while, I understand why. Most of us walk around with the background hum of not quite measuring up, a feeling so constant we stop noticing it is even there. The same way you stop hearing a fan running in the corner of a room until someone finally turns it off and the silence feels almost strange. I want to gently turn that fan off for a moment. I want to remind you that the standard you are holding yourself to, the one that says you should be further along, more accomplished, more certain, was never actually handed to you by anyone with real authority over your life. It was absorbed, slowly, from comparison, from old expectations, from moments that convinced a younger version of you that you were somehow behind. And once that belief settles in, the mind becomes remarkably skilled at finding evidence to support it, while quietly ignoring everything that contradicts it. I want to talk about the specific tiredness of performing okayness when you are not actually okay. So many of us have learned to keep a steady face regardless of what is happening underneath it. I want to ask you gently, if this sounds familiar, who actually gets to see the real version of you, the one underneath the performance? If the honest answer is almost no one, I want you to know that carrying that alone is heavier than it needs to be. You are allowed to let someone see you struggle. The people who genuinely love you would not think less of you. Most of them would feel closer to you, not further away. I want to talk about the fear of taking up too much space, wanting too much, asking for too much. This fear often has roots stretching back further than we realize, moments where wanting something openly led to disappointment, teaching us quietly that it was safer to want less. I want to challenge that lesson today. Wanting more for your life is not greed. It is simply the honest sound of a person who still has more to give and more to become, and that wanting deserves honoring rather than shrinking down to avoid the risk of disappointment. I want to talk about the quiet relief of releasing the belief that you must have everything figured out before you are allowed to move forward. So many of us wait for a sense of readiness that never actually arrives, postponing important decisions and meaningful changes until we feel more prepared. But readiness is usually not something you feel before you begin. It is something you build through the act of beginning, imperfectly, uncertain, often scared. I want to remind you that most of what actually matters in a life is built quietly, through ordinary days, not through single dramatic breakthroughs. Change rarely happens the way we imagine it should. It happens through repetition, through small choices stacked one on top of another, mostly invisible in the moment, only becoming visible once you look back after enough time has passed to notice the difference. I want to close by reminding you that you do not need to wait for some future, more accomplished version of yourself before you are allowed to feel proud of who you are right now. You do not need permission from anyone else to rest, to be gentle with yourself, to trust that you are doing better than your harshest internal voice usually gives you credit for. You are allowed to be exactly where you are, imperfect, still figuring things out, still healing from things you have not fully processed yet, and still, entirely, worthy of the same patience and care you so easily offer to everyone else. So take a breath. Let your shoulders drop from wherever they have been holding tension. And whatever today still holds for you, walk into it a little more gently than you walked into yesterday, trusting that you are enough, exactly as you are, right now, in this exact, ordinary, entirely real moment. You stayed until this sentence, and I do not think that was an accident.